This program has a voicemail line, and that number is 714-576-4054. You can also reach me by emailing daily@dollemore.com. Occasionally, I will sift through picking what I feel would be the most informational or maybe entertaining voicemails that I receive throughout the week, hundreds of which I do receive. On May 9th, I did a video about headlines that Barron Trump had been named a delegate to the Republican National Convention. And in that video, before the very next day, it was announced that he had withdrawn his name. And I'll read from an article here after I play some voicemails. But in that video, I expressed concern that people were going to do a pile on Barron Trump. I said, we don't even know what his voice sounds like. We don't know what his positions are. All we know is who his family is. What family he, with no choice of his own, was born into. And I expressed and admonished the audience to exhibit a little caution, a little fairness and charity toward the young Barron. Some people disagreed. Some people agreed. First, we're going to start with one of those callers that disagreed with me about this, and then we'll play a couple of short agreements, and then I'll read the headlines that changed instantaneously after the vote or after the video was posted. First, let's get to a disagreeer.
Jesse, your friend Rolf from Washington State. Just looking at your piece on Barron Trump and Daddy, Jesus. I reflect on this. When he was around 13 years old or so, he was calling Obama a Nazi. And so he's very definitely in every bit a stormtrooper, just like the family motto, step on everyone. I think that he's going to end up just like the rest of them, Jesse. It's just like it's like an assembly line. I'm sorry to be so disjointed. I should never have cannabis before I call you, but it is legal here in Washington, and a 69-year-old man enjoys it. This whole family's filth, but you know all that. I guess I was just wanting to rant a little bit because, this kid is no different than any of the rest. It's in the blood. Oh, well. Have a good day. Say hello to Brittany. Thank you. Judy says hello. Everything is good in the land of the free and the home of the enlightened, and thank you for keeping us that way. Have a nice day, sir. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Rolf and Judy. Thanks for calling in and disagreeing so agreeably. Let me push back on a bunch of what you said. You stated it yourself. He's 13 when he says the things you claim that he said. I did a very cursory, very abbreviated search on Google to try to find this quote, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I don't know. I can't test the veracity of that particular claim. But even if it's true, he was a 13-year-old child when he said it. Would you want to be judged against your behavior at 13? I can tell you I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be judged against my behavior at 18 or maybe even 20 when I was in the Marine Corps. I think we need to exhibit a little bit of fairness and charity and judge with the same meter that we would want judged against us, not to go all biblical and Matthew on you. But you say there's no difference between he and his family. We don't know that. We don't know. He's going to end up just like the rest of them. We don't know that. I understand the impulse that his name is Trump and all things Trump are bad. Most things Trump are disgraceful, deplorable, horrific. And he may end up going down that road toward where his parents are. Absolutely is a possibility, if not maybe a likelihood. But I'm not going to prejudge the situation. I'm not going to label him anything other than just a young kid who ended up bowing out of this particular duty that was bestowed upon him to be a delegate at the National Convention in Milwaukee, I believe. Thank you for the call, Ralph. Nice to hear from you and Judy. Let's go to someone who agreed.
Solid 13 here, Jess. I agree with your approach toward Barron. Although he is 18, he's still a kid, and we don't know how much he's being coerced. But the first sign of him showing the same traits of his dad and siblings, step on his nuts. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I'm going to stay away from the young Barron Trump's nuts, but I'll tell you this. I agree. I don't know why I have two pens in my hand. I agree with you wholeheartedly that if he does step out of line, if he does step into that role that we all hope he does not, there will be people like me, like you, like others who will hold him to account. And that's all we can hope for here. I'm not going to hold some 13-year-old kid or 18-year-old adult to a standard by which I wouldn't want to be held. And also, we don't know anything about who he is, what he stands for, or what kind of a man he's going to end up being. Having said that, let's move on to one more call on this topic.
Hey, Jesse. Kevin in Virginia.
Kevin.
I enjoyed your last video, or one of your videos, the one on Barron Trump. I agree 100% with you. We sort of need to reserve judgment of him until he literally, lets us know what he's all about. Is he going to be like his dad or what? But I hope for his own sake he just goes and does something else and doesn't get into politics. Mainly because I just don't want to keep hearing about Trump's for the next 20 years or whatever. But it's just he needs to go do his own thing and be his own man.
I agree.
But they certainly will try to pressure him to be into politics. They want that Trump name no matter how many times it loses. So anyway, have a good day. Have a good weekend. Continue doing the good work.
Thank you for the call. I agree with all of that. He hopefully he will become his own man. Now, these calls were received by me. They were called in by people before the news broke the very next day. And the reason oftentimes I reserve judgment, and that may seem weird that I'm reserving judgment. It may seem like I'm always just being judgy. That's fine. But there's often moments where I'm reserving judgment and waiting or even not commenting on stories because I don't know that it's my place and I don't want to just be involved in a pile-on. The very next day, the news went from Barron Trump named delegate to the Republican National Convention this summer to this headline, CBS News, Barron Trump declines offer to serve as Florida delegate to a Republican National Convention. Barron Trump, the 18-year-old son of former President Donald Trump and former First Lady Melania Trump, has turned down an offer to serve as a Florida delegate to the Republican National Convention. Quote, while Barron is honored to have been chosen as a delegate by the Florida Republican Party, he regretfully declines to participate due to prior commitments, according to a statement Friday afternoon from the office of Melania Trump. One more paragraph. The news comes 2 days after Barron Trump was named as an at-large delegate, along with several other members of the Trump family. His brothers, Donald Trump Jr., Human Participation Trophy, Eric Trump, and sister Tiffany Trump were also named as delegates, according to a list released Wednesday by the Florida Republican Party. And then as an aside, Ivanka Trump is not on a list of delegates. So I don't know if I feel vindicated, but I am buoyed by my decision early on to not go hard against Barron Trump because we don't know anything about the kid, about the young man. We don't know. And I would advise and hope caution on your part about these matters as well. I would hope that you would want the same amount of fairness and charity directed your way, especially when you were 18 or 13, even more for that matter. I appreciate all of your communication on these and other matters. If you would like to sound off and get your voice on the record, you can call 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I would invite you to help participate in supporting this work. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for $1.99 a month, or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you guys. Thanks for your engagement. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.